leading the way with important local coverage. You're watching WISN 12 News at 5.
I think the community is anticipating it, looking forward to it, and expecting it.
Now at 5, a fight over the 4th of July parade in Oak Creek. The people who put it on recommending it be canceled because of COVID. Others now vowing to take it over. The contentious meeting.
Then breaking news regarding the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. CDC advisors saying it can be used again. The new warning label that could come with it.
One of the families who done lost some babies this week. It's heartbreaking, and I wish it had stopped.
And 7 children shot in MIlwaukee in 1 week. Tonight, 2 are dead. The family's plea to stop the violence.
First at 5, a fight over the fate of a local 4th of July parade.
The committee that puts on Oak Creek's parade recommended it be postponed because of COVID, but some city leaders are pushing back. 12 News' Kent Wainscott joins us live from Oak Creek, where the parade showdown is playing out. Kent?
Yeah, Joyce, this American Legion post is where Oak Creek's 4th of July parade traditionally wraps up. Big crowds line the parade route in the park nearby. And during the pandemic, that's what has organizers concerned. And it's led to a showdown between that committee and some members of the Common Council. And it's put Oak Creek's mayor in a very unique spot. The 4th of July parade is a tradition in Oak Creek.
We did that with our family and friends.
COVID canceled last year's parade, and many were hoping it would return this year.
I think the community is anticipating it, looking forward to it, and expecting it.
But this week, the head of the volunteer committee that organizes the parade delivered this news to the Common Council.
It is a recommendation of the Celebrations Commission that we not move forward again with the actual parade this year.
Aldermen who pushed for the parade's return offered to start their own committee and asked the current group to hand over the work it had already completed.
But would you be willing to, over the course of several days, to start jotting down some of these things that need to be done so that we can attempt to put on a decent parade?
Probably not, because you've already discredited me and our decision about having this parade, so I probably wouldn't.
Oh, that's too bad.
That showdown between the council and the committee chair left Oak Creek's mayor in a tough spot, and not just over how to safely pull off a parade.
Your wife chairs that committee.
Yes.
Mayor Daniel Bukavis says his wife Carolyn had volunteered as leader of the Celebrations Commission for years, but not anymore.
Quite frankly, she's submitted her resignation.
Now a new ad hoc committee will try to rebuild a parade on limited time.
I don't think it'll be the parade that people have become accustomed to. But, in some fashion, it may suffice for what the people were asking for.
All right, Kent, if the parade happens, what changes might people see?
Well, some council members discussed perhaps a longer route to spread people out a little bit more. No throwing candy, no public cookout event afterward or anything like that. But one thing that even the original committee agreed on was that the fireworks show that's part of the big celebration here on the 4th of July should go on as planned.
We'll see how it plays out. Kent Wainscott reporting live from Oak Creek.
U.S. Senator Ron Johnson from Wisconsin questioned the need for widespread COVID vaccinations on a conservative radio show.
The science tells us that vaccines are 95% effective. So if you have a vaccine, quite honestly, what do you care if your neighbor has one or not? I mean, what is it to you? You've got a vaccine, and it's, science is telling you it's very, very effective. So why is this big push to make sure everybody gets a vaccine, and to the point where you better impose it? You're going to shame people. You're going to force them to carry a card to prove that they've been vaccinated so they can participate in society. I'm getting highly suspicious of what's happening here.
Wisconsin Democrats are responding to Johnson's comments.
It's very clear that the evidence that we see that Ron Johnson is out of touch, not only with our country, but with the folks that are everyday citizens throughout our communities. Not only should he apologize for his comments, now taking a swipe at the solution to really get rid of this virus once and for all, but he needs to resign.
When it comes to fighting the virus, breaking news tonight, a CDC advisory panel has voted to resume the use of the Johnson & Johnson single-dose COVID vaccine. That vaccine is now linked to 15 cases of a very rare blood clotting condition, all in women. That's 15 cases out of roughly 7 million Johnson & Johnson vaccine shots given. The committee agreed the benefits outweigh the risks from rare blood clots. CDC Director Dr. Rochelle Walensky is expected to sign off, and the FDA will prepare an amended emergency use authorization for the vaccine. The FDA will also update the vaccine's label, indicating that women under the age of 50 should be aware of the risk of blood clots. Wisconsin vaccinators have administered more than 4.1 million doses of the vaccine so far. More than 30% of Wisconsin residents are now fully vaccinated, and more than 41% have had at least one shot. And state health officials reported 795 new COVID cases today. 13 more deaths were also recorded. That is the highest one-day mark since April 8th.
Wauwatosa is scaling back vaccination clinics held at City Hall. Instead, 2 vaccine clinics will open at Mayfair Mall. One will happen next Friday from 1 until 3 in the afternoon, and then next Saturday from 11 in the morning until 3 in the afternoon. Second dose clinics can be scheduled at Wauwatosa City Hall every Friday in May. It's been a violent week in Milwaukee for children.
7 teenagers have been shot since last Friday. 2 of the 7 have died. Now here's a map of where the shootings occurred. You'll notice 2 of the locations are parks. 12 News' Hillary Mintz joins us now from Sherman Park, where someone gunned down a high school senior on a basketball court. Hillary?
Right, Joy, 17-year-old Roy Thomas was on the basketball court right behind me here when his family say someone drove up here, a gunman, and fired. Thomas was the only one struck. Tonight, his family is completely devastated to lose this young man who is set to return to school on Monday.
He was a good kid. Everybody liked him.
This is 17-year-old Roy Thomas, a senior at Milwaukee's James Madison High School.
He died here in this fight, which is why I'm standing here.
Tonight, his family grieving and heartbroken after Thomas was shot and killed in Sherman Park Thursday evening.
How is the family doing tonight?
Not good. My sister's broken. My nieces and my nephew, my whole family is broken. It was something, some boys that was friends with Roy was into it with some other boys. And unfortunately, they came to this park. Roy came to this park because one of the friends came and got him. He came to record what was about to happen with a fight. Roy was truly innocent. He was not the intended target.
This young man is one of 7 teenagers who fell victim to gun violence in Milwaukee in just 1 week. At 34th and Burleigh on Wednesday, someone shot 2 14-year-old girls, and sadly, one of them died last night.
I hate that our family is one of the families who done lost some babies this week. It's heartbreaking, and I wish it had stopped.
Several city leaders condemning the violence Friday, calling it senseless.
I can't just put it on community leaders. Families got to come together. You got to keep an eye on your children.
Milwaukee Public Schools has just started welcoming students back to class. Seniors are set to return Monday.
He's about to go back to school. He was looking forward to it.
We asked Superintendent Dr. Keith Posley about the shootings.
Do you think that kids not being in school contributes to any of this gun violence?
I would say to you that school is a crucial component of a child's day, a child's life. As a community, we have to do more to support our young people, to find positive avenues and things for them to do to make sure that our young people are moving in the right direction.
Well, Hillary, in Roy's case, has the sheriff's office made any arrests?
No, Joyce, they say they're following up on a number of leads, but so far no one is in custody.
Hillary Mintz reporting live.
New tonight, a police shooting in central Wisconsin. According to the Department of Justice, the shooting happened at an apartment around 3:30 this morning in Weston, which is south of Wausau. Investigators say when they arrived, they heard a woman screaming and were confronted by an armed man. Officers say they shot the man. He's in serious condition. They say they found the woman dead in the apartment. As Derek Chauvin sits behind bars convicted of murder, a federal investigation into George Floyd's death also includes a prior use of force case involving Chauvin.
Sources are telling ABC authorities are investigating a September 2017 incident involving Chauvin and a black teenager. Prosecutors say Chauvin was called to the teen's home for a domestic incident. Body cameras captured officers telling the boy to lie on the ground, which he refused to do. Chauvin allegedly then hit the 14-year-old in the head so hard the boy needed stitches. They say Chauvin then grabbed the teen by the throat, causing him to lose consciousness. Then he held the boy down with his knee for nearly 17 minutes. The video could come up when Chauvin is sentenced in Floyd's case in mid-June.
At sentencing, you have a much bigger opportunity, a broader opportunity, to present evidence about who the person is.
While he did receive several commendations and awards during his 19-year career, Chauvin was named in at least 17 complaints. And tonight, ABC digs deeper into the lives of Derek Chauvin and George Floyd.
He was nice to my mom all the time. With me and my mom both loved him.
During a special edition of 2020, ABC highlights George Floyd's life as told by family and friends. You'll also hear from his second-grade teacher and his dreams for the future.
We will take you inside his world, let you find out, first of all, how he wound up in Minneapolis, what that life was like for him growing up there in Houston. He had dreams of becoming an athlete. So who was this man? You'll find out in ways I think that you never even knew before. You'll also learn more about Derek Chauvin and about his wife, and you'll hear a little bit of him on tape tonight. Really kind of pulling back the curtain, as you say, and taking a good look at this case.
Watch a special edition of 2020, George Floyd, a man, a moment, America changed. That's tonight at 8, right here on WISN 12.
Turning to Weather Watch 12 now, we missed out on the rain today.
Yeah, Mark, the evening weather is looking pretty good.
Yeah, a fair amount of clouds around, but some of you still getting some sun as well. 58 degrees is our newest camera at Carroll University in Waukesha. So it's comfortable and our temperatures aren't going to drop off a whole lot. A little breezy out of the southwest, but that also means that it's warm all the way to the lakeshore. Let's get a look at where we do have the rain. Stayed up to the north, went down to the south, so we missed out on this round. Probably not going to be completely lucky as we move into the weekend forecast. You see plenty of cloud cover as the night goes on, but temperatures only dropping into the mid-40s. We'll look at that weekend forecast, when you can get outside and when we're going to get some rain coming up in Weather Watch 12.
A new exhibition honoring an iconic freedom fighter is now on display at the Milwaukee Public Museum. The museum partnered with America's Black Holocaust Museum for the debut of Nelson Mandela, the official exhibition. Mandela was a South African political and revolutionary leader who served as the country's first black president from 1994 to 1999. The global touring exhibition takes you on a personal journey through his life.
So starting with his childhood and then going through his years of anti-apartheid fighting, his years in prison, and then his release from prison, and eventually becoming the first black elected president of South Africa.
The Nelson Mandela exhibition will be on display until August 1st.
More food assistance is on the way for seniors struggling through the pandemic. The multi-million-dollar pledge from the USDA to get more food in the hands of low-income seniors.
And later, we're just 2 days away from an Oscars show like no other. The promise from producers to shake things up for the 93rd installment of the Academy Awards.
Be the first to know when news breaks. Download the WISN 12 News app right now.